Okay, good evening, everybody. So I just wanted to do a little stream about some stuff that I've been seeing on Kotaku and also GameFAQs. Um, wasn't really enough material to do complete videos on each one, so I figured I'd just do a little stream and kind of lump everything together and get it all in one go. So, as you can see, we're going to start off with the quality writing of one Patricia Hernandez, everybody's favorite, well, one of the favorite writers of Kotaku. And I use the term writer very loosely, as you're about to see just how easy it is to be considered a writer on Kotaku or blogger. I guess it depends on the day, journalist, blogger. They're interchangeable, apparently, depending on how much respect you want, because if you want to take advantage of all the perks of being a journalist, well, yeah, today we'll be a journalist. But if you decide that you don't want to take responsibility for what you wrote and you don't want to have to live up to the ethical standards of being a journalist, well, you could just say, this isn't, this is my job, but it's not really that serious of a thing. I am just a blogger. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about with this so-called article. Okay, look, this is now you got a video here. I love it when they try to make an article or a post, if you will, out of somebody else's video content. So it's just a horse, and I'll play it for you. Oh, yep, there you go. Okay, that's all you need to see. It's a horse taking a shit. That's just, which says a lot about the website that it's posted on, if you ask me. But here, this is all it says. Hideo Kojima is a genius. Also, that farting sound is disgusting and hilarious. Video games. I don't understand how this is paid writing. How does she have a job? How is this even remotely close to a job? Because I have written more quality pieces on a napkin. I have written better composed grocery lists. And I just can't understand how this is considered work. Uh, just go and grab any video. Apparently, all you got to do is throw up a blog, go grab any old video game video, and just be like, "Oh, this person is a genius. Farts are hilarious. Haha, video games." And that's it. You've got to post. I mean, there's just no effort, no nothing. It's a complete and total fucking joke. And we're supposed to take video game journalism seriously, and we're supposed to expect these people to live up to some sort of ethical standard, but they have no standards. This is scraping the fucking bottom of the barrel. It doesn't get any lower than this. There's so much more you could talk about with Metal Gear Solid 5, and all she's doing is commenting on a horse taking a shit. That's it. I mean, yeah, okay, it's probably humorous when you look at it, the whole scope of the game. It's a little bit ridiculous and funny that they went to the trouble of creating that much level of detail where the horse actually has to defecate. But come on, I mean, this is all people expect. This is the website, and that gets so much respect. Why? Why do they have an audience? I don't understand. I want to see if in the comments here somebody has something to say. Like, how much do you get paid to write a shitty article on a 30-second video that is multiple days late? Oh, I was already off work. It's Friday night. I decided to stay late to post a quick thing that I thought people might enjoy. Wow. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your almost weekend to provide us with this masterful post of genius. I mean, if anything, if nothing else, this post is representative of the quality of your work. And that is a pile of horse shit, if that wasn't clear enough. The other thing that I noticed that I wanted to take a look at here was this article here, which actually does have a tad bit more writing to it than Patricia's. Let's give credit where credit's due. Why most video game aggression studies are nonsense. Here's the thing. These guys, we're about to go through an article that's going to tell you, well, just because some studies show that it's possible that video games cause aggression doesn't mean they really do. And that's kind of nonsense to say that video games cause real life violence or real life aggression. And I agree. I think it's a load of bullshit because people have been violent for as far as humanity has had history, probably prior to that. So to say that all of a sudden, video games are making it worse and we wouldn't have so much violence in our society if it wasn't for video games and crazy extremist viewpoints like that, it's just a load of garbage. I mean, what video games were the Nazis playing then? It doesn't make sense. So to the point about what bothers me about their viewpoint here, excuse me, is their lack of consistency. So they push the narrative of, video games are sexist and they're misogynistic against women and all this shit. But how are you going to tell me that? And you're going to be like, there's studies to prove it, that, females are objectified and blah, blah, blah. But yet you're going to tell us that the studies about video game aggression is nonsense. Why, if video games don't cause real life violence, why would they cause real life sexism? I mean, do they not see the connection here? Do they not see how this is kind of hypocritical? I'm really not getting it. She probably still has her job because she's very well known for her low intelligence. Yeah, well, I guess she does bring in the clicks, so there is that at least, right? Ironically, she got a promotion not too long ago, and when I commented about that on Twitter, she was in the @replies, and she blocked me because I said something about I made a joke about how she wrote the article about video game dicks or something like that. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, I just find it stupid and very inconsistent that they're going to try to attack the narrative of video games causing aggression, yet seem to be completely in support of video games causing real life violence, or I'm sorry, real life sexism. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. Let's see. And I noticed that whenever they do post something, it's almost always full of links to where it originated. Like, okay, the gaming website Polygon reported on the study, so let's jump in on that and report on it too. It's like there's not an original thought between them. And I mean, when did they? Let's see when Polygon posted this. I'm just curious. Okay, they did it August 13th, and Schreier did one the next day. So to tell that there's no, I don't know, like there's no connect or no collusion, and I'm not saying that this is an instance of something unethical, but it's the next day that this website is commenting on something that Polygon already did. So there's obviously a sense of community at the very least. Don't really want to get into a very detailed analysis of this right now, just because I'm kind of doing this for shits and giggles. But like I said, it's annoying that they want to push the females being objectified in video games and all that nonsense, yet somehow the video games don't cause violence. And I agree they don't, but I also don't believe for a moment they cause sexism. Whatever happened to people being able to differentiate between fiction and reality? And now there's suddenly this whole narrative where everybody needs to be equally represented, or else society is just this regressive, racist, sexist piece of shit that has no clue what they're doing. And apparently all media is written and developed by white men who just want to see themselves represented. And I just don't buy it for a minute, because not only is that intellectually dishonest in the scope of the Western world, but we are completely ignoring the fact that I don't even have it's not like I have a stat in front of me, but at least half of the video games developed come from Japan. So do they just hire white men in Japan too? Because where are all the Japanese developers? Do they not count? It's mind-boggling how they can do this, and especially in a social justice mindset. If we're going to use their own logic against them, they are always bitching. Don't erase people's experiences. Don't erase people's identities. Well, what the fuck do you think you're doing when you're completely ignoring the other half of the industry? You're ignoring their existence. You're ignoring the fact that there have been various. I'm losing my train of thought. That's what I get for doing an impromptu stream. But you get my point here. There's been plenty of Japanese female developers. There have been plenty of American female developers. But they suddenly don't exist because they haven't claimed oppression and sexism. So their existence doesn't count. And the games they've made don't count. And the female characters that exist, they just don't count because they weren't created in 2015. So it's not progressive enough. And it's mind-blowing, because ever since I was a kid, I probably started playing video games, I want to say like 4 or 5 years old. So ever since then, first of all, I don't go around looking to see myself represented in anything, because I just enjoy fiction as such. It's an escape from reality for me. It's not like looking into a mirror. If I wanted to see myself, I'd go look in a mirror. If I wanted to do something, I'd get my ass up off the couch and go do it. If I want to play a video game, I want to play as some hero or heroine that's going to do amazing things that I won't be able to accomplish because that's not reality. But ever since I played video games since I was a kid, I never really noticed, and this is obviously anecdotal, so maybe I can't use it as proof of, everybody's experience. But in my experience, it was always nice when we wanted, we wanted girls to play games with us. We didn't, and not the mind games. I'm talking about video games. That used to be a saying we used to have: video games, not mind games. It's lame, yes, but that's fucking nerds. I mean, what are you gonna do? So what I'm trying to say is, various games from the 80s and the 90s had female characters that would be considered strong. Maybe not necessarily always in a lead position, but they exist. And to ignore them is to ignore the work of very talented people that told great stories, created great games, and these games are timeless. You can argue social justice nonsense all you want and say, well, they're not with the times, they're outdated because they have this, this, and this, or they don't have this, this, and this, but it's bullshit. Fiction, if it's quality, and if the gameplay is great, it's going to be a timeless product that you can enjoy when it was created or 50 years later. It doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of the product, and not some stupid, ridiculous quota that says you have to have these types of characters, or your game is not worth shit, or your game is racist, or your game is sexist. It's mind-blowing how people that claim to have fought so hard for freedom are now fighting for censorship, in a sense, because they're trying to dictate somebody else's imagination. They're trying to dictate somebody else's fictional works, possibly even their dream. I mean, these people could have had this story in their mind since for who knows how long, and you're trying to control it. Anthropomorphic animals in space. Yeah, so it's just it really bothers me the way we kind of just pretend when it's convenient, oh, these things don't exist. There was a comment here. Okay. This comment from Schreier. We've been very careful over the past few years to regard all of these studies with skepticism. Really. You'd be hard-pressed to find a recent Kotaku article that just echoes any, either good or bad, without any additional investigation or context. I really have to wonder what Kotaku considers investigation, because time and time again, we have seen that they don't do their research, or if they do their research, they simply ignore the facts and go straight for the narrative pushing. So to say that they have challenged these things with skepticism is a bald-faced lie, especially since this is Jason Objectivity is Stupid Schreier. I mean, does he not see the hypocrisy here? If you want to see yourself in games and play games with character creators, for example, that's actually exactly what I say. I think that's a really good point. There's no reason to think that somebody else's creation with, let's say there's no character creator and you're playing Final Fantasy or something. There's no reason to ever think that a character in that game is going to mirror you or represent you. You can relate to character struggles. You can relate to emotions. And I think that those things transcend race and gender and all that crap, because they're human emotions and human experiences that we can all connect to. You can argue that if, say, there were cultural similarities, that maybe one person's experience can connect more than somebody else's, but I think that at the end of the day, it's fiction, and you've got to realize that this developer is creating a game with their vision in mind that has nothing to do with you. If you happen to enjoy it, that's great. If not, move on, find something you want to play. Don't play games preset. Yeah, that's my advice, but apparently that advice is oppressive and regressive, and just, you know, I've been told before multiple times, and I don't even know how they can make this claim, oh, you don't want representation because all the video game characters already represent you. And it's like, okay, all you know about me is a screen name on the internet and my opinion, and you're going to make the leap, the mental gymnastics to come to the conclusion that every video game character represents me. Really? Yes, a stream within a stream. I'm actually trying to defy the laws of physics and cross back over into a parallel universe where the Bernstein Bears were spelled with an E. The other, so that's basically what I wanted to bitch about when it comes to this Kotaku crap.